All right, hey everybody, welcome to our Thursday night training. We're going to be covering some affiliate marketing stuff tonight. This is a bit more of a summary type discussion, but I'll do a good example for you as we talk, and hopefully this helps all of you guys who are currently working on your affiliate sites and your affiliate blogs. I was mentioning to you guys just before I started recording that I think sometimes when you're busy working on content generation and you're working on the rigors of your website, you sometimes forget the big picture of what we're trying to do here. So let me just outline a couple of things for you real quick, okay? Number one, and I'm going to assume first of all, you've got your site set up, you've got your niche chosen, and you're busy working on content and ads and trying to make money off of the site. When you're at that point, this is the process, and I'm just going to call it the process, okay? We'll just label it that for the sake of not having a better name for it. We'll call it the process, okay? And what it is it starts with we'll call it an idea for a blog topic, or we'll say article topic. Okay. Now remember, you've already got your site set up, right? So I'm going to say we'll call this our prereq right here. One, need a niche website set up, usually on WordPress, and then we'll say two, we want a simple design, and that's it, right? We've got a niche website set up with a simple design, and now we're ready for putting on some content, okay? So the process goes like this. We come up with an idea or a blog topic, right? An article topic of some sort. And in doing that, we're going to use tools like keywordtool.io and moz.com. We'll do an example of that tonight. Number two, we need to actually write the content, okay? And I'm going to leave that at that because we'll be discussing what writing the content actually entails. Number three, we do the SEO on the content, okay, or the article. Four, we add our monetization, which would be I'm going to say add ads, if that makes sense. That could be Google AdSense. That could be from an affiliate network, right? That could be Amazon's associates affiliate program, so on and so forth. We add ads. And then number five, we monitor with Google Analytics, okay? And then you know what we do? We rinse and repeat, and we do it again, 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 okay? You rinse and repeat this process lots and lots of times, and eventually with hundreds of articles. And the analogy I always like to use is you're like that really giant boat in the middle of the lake with about 400 fishing poles sitting out the side of it, right? You're going to catch more fish than the boat that's sitting next to you with two fishing lines hanging out the side, because your boat is bigger, you've got more manpower, you've got more fishing line. You're just going to catch more fish. In a smaller boat, you're not, right? And so that's why if you rinse and repeat over and over and over again, and you have numerous articles on your site that are really well done, and I guess for the sake of our analogy or our comparison here, they're well baited lines, right? So they're effective in catching fish and bringing traffic into the site. You will make money doing this. There's no doubt about it. And if you do it well, you can make substantial amounts of money doing this sort of a process. Where a lot of you guys get stuck, though, and I know this for sure because I've watched a lot of you guys start this from scratch as we've done this series, is a lot of you get here, You do the process 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 times, and then you think to yourself, well, I'm not making money yet, so this must not be working. That's just not the way to think about it. Back to our analogy, that's like casting out your line for 15 minutes, not catching a fish, and then reeling it in and saying, well, this doesn't work, right? That's just, that you'll never catch any fish if you have that kind of a mentality. And it's the same with our internet marketing. So I want you guys to be smart about this. We need to rinse and repeat this whole process, but let's go through it quickly, and let's just do a quick example. No more explaining. Hopefully you've taken some notes on what this is. Let's go ahead and show you how this might start, okay? Using our sample site here, our Albion Strawberry site. Now in this example, we've got a niche and we've got a site, right? This is a site dedicated to, the niche would be education about how to grow and cultivate your own strawberries. Okay, there's the niche. And it's got a simple design, and it's ready for content. So the first thing I do based on our notes is I need an idea of what to write about. And for those of you guys who are struggling with coming up with ideas, this part right here is going to be helpful. I tend to like to start right here. Keywordtool.io. Okay. So I love this tool. This tool actually tells me what people are looking for online. Because we're going to create content, we might as well create content and articles that people are already looking for. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with the word strawberry, because that's my main niche. So let's start with the word strawberry. Do a search in this little search bar. And I want you to watch what happens here. You get this big list, okay? So I'm going to scroll down. I know this is small, so let's zoom in just a little bit here. See this giant list of stuff? I could scroll on and on and on and on and on. Okay? This list is generated from Google. Basically, historically, Google tracks, or let me say it this way. Google tracks the history of searches that take place inside the search engine, which is hard to comprehend, because if you can imagine the millions upon millions upon millions of searches that take place on Google every day, they track it. And so what happens with Google is this tool sort of connects into their system in a way that if I type in the word strawberry here and then follow it up with, let's say, the letter L, Google is going to do what's called the Google Suggest, where they're going to suggest what they think you're going to type in next based on real-time results. So strawberry with the letter L, they're going to guess based on other people's searches that you're looking for maybe strawberry lemonade or strawberry letter or strawberry letter 23, strawberry legs, strawberry lemonade cake, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, is any of this stuff relevant to me right now? Probably not, right? Maybe I could do something with this. Strawberry lemonade, maybe. I would have to share like a recipe, probably. But that's viable. Strawberry leaves is something I could discuss. But that seems so vague, so I'm going to want to narrow that down a little bit. As I scroll down, I could continue to kind of look. There's lots of things I could do here. One that I saw earlier while I was preparing for this was strawberry. There's shortcake. Oh, it's gone now. I can't see it. Anyway, let's come back up to the top and let's go with strawberry. Here's one right here. How about this? Strawberry pancakes. Now that's these usually when you start it with a one-word search like we just did. We just typed in the word strawberry. You're going to get lots of random things, right? But let's extrapolate this out a little bit. Let's do strawberry and then type in pancakes like they suggest and do another search. And it's going to narrow down what people have searched for in relation to strawberry pancakes. So here's what people are looking for. Whenever they type in strawberry pancakes, the next most likely is strawberry pancakes IHOP, strawberry pancakes from scratch, strawberry pancakes calories. Guys, what can I do with this information? What is this information telling me that I'm seeing based on what we've talked about so far? Right? So what? It says strawberry pancake calories. What does this mean exactly? Right. Some of you guys are saying this that people are actually typing that into Google, aren't they? Now help me figure this out, guys. If somebody types in strawberry pancakes calories, do I know what they're looking for? Is it obvious or not obvious? Yeah, I'd say it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, the keyword phrase basically says it right there. Strawberry pancakes calories, that I'm guessing that person that's typing that search phrase into Google is concerned about maybe their weight. If they're concerned about calories as it relates to strawberry pancakes, they're concerned about their health. So this is probably someone who's trying to be careful about their health. Maybe they're concerned about their weight. What do you think they want to find on a website that comes up after they search for this? Yeah, they want a site that just tells them how many calories they can expect to consume if they eat strawberry pancakes. That's exactly what they're looking for. So, could I put together some content on my site that actually answers that question? I probably could, couldn't I? Let's actually extrapolate this out one more level and see if there's any more detailed searches that revolve around this. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it up here now. And I'm going to do a search. And now we get even a more specific set of data. Strawberry pancakes nutrition facts. Strawberry pancakes nutrition, so on and so forth. Strawberry cheesecake pancakes calories. So there's obviously what I can gain from this little bit of research that we've done right now is there's definitely a group of people out there that are concerned about the nutrition and the caloric implications of eating strawberry pancakes. Now that may seem insignificant to a lot of us, right? It's like, who cares? How many people are actually even looking for that? Well, if it's showing up here in keywordtool.io and it's giving us this much data on it, you'd probably be surprised. Or maybe you wouldn't. I mean, you got to remember, where do people go when they want to look something up and get an answer to a question? They go to Google and they search for it. Now, what if, for 1 second, what if then we take this idea and we write a little article about it and put it on our site? If we did that, did some things that helped it get a ranking, put some ads on the article, we could be #1 in Google for a lot of these searches. We could get hundreds, if not thousands, of visitors to that article where we're satisfying that person who's asking the question, how many calories are in my strawberry pancakes? And therefore, we'll make money off of that, right? We'll make money because we've got ads on our site for that. And this is great because this is helping me come up with a topic for my next article on my strawberry blog. So that's what I'm going to do, right? So here's my next step. Does that make sense so far, guys, on what we can do here with keywordtool.io? You should never, ever say to me, Trevor, I have no idea what to write about. I don't know what people are searching for. I mean, you can't say that anymore. If you know how to use this tool, you know exactly what people are searching for, and you should know exactly what type of topics to be putting onto your affiliate blog. Okay? You guys agree with that? Does that kind of make sense? Okay, so let's move on then. So that was in our little list of things to do here. That was number one. Although we need to look at this in Moz as well. Okay, so once I've got kind of an idea and I've got some keyword ideas right here in keywordtool.io, I'm going to come over to Moz, which I won't explain a lot of because I'm assuming most of you should know a little bit about Moz if you've come to some of these other trainings. This tool right here, this is the keyword difficulty tool in Moz, and this is going to help me figure out maybe how popular a phrase is, how competitive it is. So we're going to just try a few of these. Let's paste this one in, comma. I can separate these out by commas. Let me zoom in so this is a little bit easier for you to see. Okay, these are different keyword searches typed in by real people out there on Google. We started with this one right here, so I want to make sure that's in our list. See, I'm just putting in these very quickly. We're not going to put all of them in. IHOP ones. And then we'll just let's grab a couple other ones. Denny's, this one right here, that's kind of an interesting one. These are what I would call long tail keyword phrases, because they're not just one or two words, there's several words strung together, aren't they? Yeah, it's true, Barbara. Moz is expensive, but if you do a lot of this research in one go, because you can get your Moz account for free for a month. Moz.com doesn't cost you anything if you use it for free for a month, right? So you could do this exercise over and over and over again and have hundreds of researched keyword phrases that are going to be good for your blog, and then you could have content and keywords for your blog for the next year off of using this for a month. So that's one thing you could do. I mean, most of you guys can't afford spending a couple $100 a month on this because that's what Moz costs. So just use their free trial for a month on it. That's what I'd recommend. And no, there are other places, Barbara, but nothing is nearly as good or as consistent as Moz is. Let's start with these right here. I'm going to hit check difficulty, and I want to see if I can get some analysis on these keywords that we're looking up. All good long tail ones. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 potentials, and there were many more in here, of course, right? There are many more we could look at. Okay. Now look at the results for me real quick. Help me interpret these results. This column right here, where the percentages are, represent the difficulty. Meaning higher percentage, more difficult to rank on the first page of Google. So really, we're trying to find something that's a little bit of a lower percentage. Of all of these, the lowest is this one right here at 27%. This one at 30% right here. That's a good one. See, I could write an article on every one of these, right? I could create an article about nutrition for strawberry pancakes. These two are about the same. They're just a different way of doing a search for it. This one has to do with banana, strawberry banana. This is just strawberry. This is specific to IHOP. This is specific to Denny's. And this one is specific just to, again, just I guess strawberry pancakes in general. So this would be the same as this other one. Now looking at this, I could do some research, couldn't I? Now you might say, well, hold on, how do you even know the calories in IHOP strawberry pancakes? I could go to Google and try and do some research and look it up. What if I can't find it in Google? it would be worth it because clearly there's some demand for this stuff. And again, by demand, this column over here that says not available is supposed to give us some indication of demand, but it's not right now. This is Google search volume, okay? And the problem is with this is it's fairly inconsistent. It's hard to tell how much demand is here, especially when you're looking at long tail keyword phrases. We'd like to know how many people. This is the real question, right? How many people are actually typing in IHOP strawberry pancakes calories? My guess is not many. It's a very specific search, and we're not getting any data here. But because I found it here in keywordtool.io, I know it's been searched for before. They wouldn't display it here unless it's been searched for a few times before. So there's demand for it. I know that for sure. I feel confident of that because it's here in keywordtool.io. So let's just pick this one as our example, okay? This is my selection then. This is my target phrase. I'm going to highlight this. Let's put it on for today's example, this is our target. That then is the keyword phrase that I'm trying to get my next article to rank at the top of Google for. And it shouldn't be overly difficult because as we looked at on Moz, it's only a 30%. 30% isn't overly competitive. So great. That covers number one then, doesn't it? I've got a topic and I've got a target. And I'm ready to move on to the next step. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting question, Pam. I'm going to read this out loud. So Pam says this: if you wrote an article and started off with Denny's and IHOP, and then went on to explain the nutrition and calories in homemade strawberry pancakes, would that be a good scorer or a good performer? Essentially, you're basically saying, Pam, we're incorporating sort of all of this because it's all pretty much related, isn't it? And we're incorporating it into one article that may address both IHOP and Denny's, and then also, homemade pancake recipes with strawberries in it, and share a whole article on that. You bet. We could do that. We could incorporate it all into one if we wanted to. Or you could do separate articles, right? I guess there's pros and cons to doing it both ways. It's harder to incorporate lots of keyword phrases into one article and have that article be very relevant enough to where all of the keywords rank for it. I could write this single article and try to incorporate all these keyword searches into it, but I may not rank as well. So that's the only downside. If I wrote a separate article on each, although it may seem redundant, and there might be some overlap, it's still worth it because then I'm going to be highly relevant to each one of these search phrases and have a page for each. Yeah, that's the point I just made there, Catherine. Catherine said, but WordPress SEO only limited to one keyword phrase, not multiple. Yeah, I mean, and there's a reason for that. A lot of times it's smarter to focus on one. Okay, good thoughts. Okay, so next step then we write the content for it. Now, in our example today, I'm not going to really write an article because we don't have 3 hours for me to research it, write it well, put nice pictures in it, but we're going to create kind of a fake article. So I'm going to log into my dashboard. I'm going to do a post for it. Let's add a new one. And we're going to call this, our target is what? This is our target phrase. So in the title of my article here, I'm going to use my keyword phrase. Okay, that'll be my article title. IHOP strawberry pancakes calories. Wouldn't you like to know? Okay, there's my title. And then here's my article right here. And now I'm going to skip some steps here, and I'm going to assume for a minute that you actually hopped onto Google and you did some research. Maybe you looked up some statistics. Maybe you couldn't find a lot of statistics and you had to call IHOP's corporate office and get some official nutritional stats, right? I'll bet nobody else has done that online. But you're so thorough with your content because you believe in creating good, useful, unique, valuable content, because that ultimately is what sells and brings our page to the top of Google. So here's our article here. Extremely well done. We're going to pretend for a minute it has pictures and maybe there's a video, and there's not any guidelines necessarily to length, Kathy. I would argue that the length of your article should really depend on the scope, and if you think you can cover the answer to this simple question here in 200 words, then go ahead and do it in 200 words. I don't think it would take 2,000 words to answer this question, would it? So somewhere in between those two. You don't want it so short that it's like a couple of sentences and that's it. You basically answer the question, because we can do more than that. We can make it a bit more interesting. Okay. So here we go. We got our articles done. We wrote our content, didn't we? So we're gonna pretend for a second that number 2 is taken care of. Now we need to do SEO on the article. Okay. Now luckily we've already done the research for our target keyword phrase. So I'm going to go back to my article, and I know this is my target phrase. So guess what? A few times in here, and we'll say right here, I'm going to pretend like I used this keyword phrase in the content. My goodness, I can't spell. Calories. Okay, I'm just going to bold this just for effect so you guys can see it a little bit better. Right there. So maybe I used it right there. Sometimes it's nice to try to use it in the first line. Maybe I use it again, down in this paragraph somewhere. And then maybe I conclude with it right here. So it's used in my text a few times, isn't it? Okay, so we got that. Now, maybe just to make a little list here to make this a bit easier for you guys. When you're doing SEO, here's your basic list. Try to use the target in the article title as your first thing. Have it in your URL. Have it in an alt tag that's associated with an image. Use in the content, which we just did. You need a meta title and you need a meta description. And if applicable, use some H tags. This is your SEO checklist right here. We just did this one. Use in the content. So we're done with that. We've done it in the article title. So that's done. What about the URL? Well, the URL, we can do it right here. So I can edit my URL. It's already being used here in the URL. There it is, IHOP-strawberry-pancakes-calories. So that's okay. So I'm good in the URL. Alt tags, so I don't have any pictures on this, so I can't really demonstrate that. But if I had a picture, I would want to add an alt tag to the picture, which we've talked about before in other trainings. So I won't actually do that right now. Now, H tags. H tags are headings, correct? That's what an H tag is. So, sometimes it's nice to break up your content with some headings. So maybe this heading right here is going to be, rather than just having a bunch of paragraphs, maybe we have a little subheading. the answer below. Okay, maybe this is my little heading this is my little introduction paragraph right here, and then I get to the nuts and bolts of it, and this will be a heading. So I put in this little heading, use my target keyword phrase, and I can choose what type of heading. Maybe an H2 heading, because I think your title on WordPress is usually considered some type of an H1. So I might use an H2 right here. If I don't like the size, I can probably size that down. But see, making this an H2 or a heading 2 has some pull and some sway in the search engine. So since I'm using my target keyword phrase there, that's helpful. So that's an H tag. I don't want to go into too much detail on how to do all of these because we've done that before. We can do another training just on that again if we need to. We also need to use it in the meta tag title and meta tag description. Okay, so let's scroll down here. Most of you guys should have downloaded this Yoast SEO plugin. If you haven't, we can show you how to do that. But my focus keyword it asked me for is just that, IHOP strawberry pancakes calories. That's my focus keyword. And for my title, I want to go ahead and use that same keyword right here in my meta title. Okay, so I'm going to use that right here. Now you'll notice it's giving me kind of a snapshot of what it's going to look like in Google. That's the meta title right there. And I want that because if somebody types that in exactly, I absolutely want my page to display like this because they'll probably click on that if that's the keyword they typed in. And then for the meta tag title, I might say something like this. Ever wondered about, like that? We have the answers here. It might surprise you. Okay? I want to try to solicit a click is what I want to try to do. Convince somebody to click on that. Okay? So there we go. So I'm done really with most of my SEO stuff. It is in the URL, so we should be good to go. Now, how long do I want this URL? I may not want all of this here, maybe just the main keyword phrase. So I'm going to delete out some of that other stuff and save it. So IHOP strawberry pancakes calories. That looks good. And we're good to go on this. So our SEO is now done. We've got this just fantastic article that I've written here. What's the next step then? Put our ads on it. Okay. Now we've talked about putting ads on our articles, but that's what we would do. We would go ahead and we would install advertisements on this article. Maybe at the top, maybe at the bottom, maybe I have a little AdSense block there at the bottom of the article or the top. Okay, so I've got some ads on the article because that's how I'm making my money off of this thing, right? I've got to have some ads on there. So I put the ads on, we install those, and then the last but not least, number 5, I monitor my article via Google Analytics, and I see how many visitors I'm getting to this article over time. And you have to remember, I should add patience to this little process here, and number 5 should be part of patience, because guess what? You write this article today, and there's a reasonable chance you start ranking very quickly, but there's a better chance that you don't. There's a better chance this great article that you worked so hard on doesn't rank within the first couple of weeks, maybe not even the first 3 weeks. Okay? But I'm willing to bet if you've done things the right way and your content is really actually pretty decent, it will start gaining some rankings. Sometimes I've had articles that I've written like this that are ranking at the top of Google in like 2 days. And then I've had articles like this that haven't broken onto the top page of Google for 6 weeks. And there's also the problem with sometimes your article just doesn't ever seem to break onto the top page of Google. Now, a lot of that is in part by choosing a keyword phrase using Moz that's not overly competitive, but it sometimes does happen. Over time, as your website gets stronger and bigger, your likelihood of gaining rankings quicker goes up. So it truly is a snowball effect. As a brand new site, it is difficult to break the top page of Google. It really is. It's not easy. If it were, everybody would just be creating sites all the time and replacing other people on the top of Google. It doesn't work that way. But if you execute this process here and we rinse and repeat, and we don't have one fishing line outside of our boat, but we've got, 4 or 5 that we're creating per week. Some of you guys couldn't probably produce that type of volume of content every week, and that's fine. Maybe all you can do is 1 new article a week. Well, over the course of the year, you've got 50 articles now, right? You've got 50 fishing lines hanging out the side of your boat. 2 years from now, you've got over 100. I remember one of my first blogs that I did, I caught fire with it. I mean, I was writing sometimes twice a day. This is when I was in college and I had the time. When I should have been listening to my professor's lecture, I was sitting there on my laptop, furiously typing and creating these articles. They probably thought I was taking good notes, but that definitely wasn't the case. And I had months where I'd create 45 articles, and I was sometimes doing twice a day. I was writing on the weekends, and you know how much money I was making at that time? Not very much. I'll just be honest with you. I was not making very much money on this site, and but over time, because I let those articles marinate, some of them started to get good rankings. I started to get the traffic, and it was making money, and my ads were paying off. So, I'm not saying you can't make good money on one of these quickly, because I actually think you can. But what's more likely is that it's going to take some time, and that's okay, because I would hope you guys are mostly in this for the long haul anyway. So we rinse and repeat the process here, don't we? And I'm telling you, you blink, you set a goal, and you stay consistent, you're going to have a whole heck of a lot of articles on your site with lots of great ads. You're going to start getting Google traffic as long as you stick to the process. And we monitor Google Analytics because this will paint the picture for us and help us understand how much traffic we're actually getting. Okay? All right, guys, we're almost over time here. Let me field a couple more questions here, and we'll finish up from there. Okay, Michelle, you asked, can you show us how to check on this page in analytics? Yeah. So let me pull up one of my analytics accounts. I suppose I can do it with our test site here. Hold on, let me do it here. Let's go to Gmail. And let me sign in with Financial Nut here. This is one of my sites. See if I can get my password correct. Okay, let me try something else. I'm sure you guys never, ever, ever get stuck on a password page like I do, huh? If I can't log into this account, I don't have time to reset the password on it. So we'll have to do another account. Oh, there we go. I got in. I literally just tried like 15 passwords there, and I got one. Okay, so google.com/analytics. So I would actually go to your analytics. I've showed you guys how to create analytics accounts in the past. If you need more help with that, we can show it to you. But I'm going to sign into my Google Analytics account here through my Gmail. Since I'm already signed into my Gmail, it'll just log me right in. Let's see. So this site right here, we'll say in the past month, it's not getting a ton of traffic. It's getting 100 visitors a day. Last week wasn't bad, 127, 130. But granted, guys, you got to remember, I don't even touch this site ever. I just have ads on it, and it just sits and makes money. So let's look at, on the left-hand side here real quick, and then we got to finish up. I'm going to go to acquisition. And I can go to overview. And I can see here organic search is my search engine traffic. I can click on that. And this is going to show me keywords that my site is getting found for. I can filter it by all the different keywords. And if you'll look at this list, these are all keywords this blog is getting found for over the course of this past month. Check out these long tail phrases. Average amount spent on fast food per month. Somebody found my site for that. Check out this search right here. At the end of the year, if you have money left in budget, how do you account for it in the new year? Isn't that amazing? Somebody actually typed that into Google and found our site. Check this one out. Are IKEA couches good? Somebody found my site off of that. Car maintenance budget, so on and so forth. Lots and lots of keywords here. Okay. So I can see certainly my keywords. Let me find. Let's see. I think it's behavior, maybe. Yeah. See, under behavior and then site content, I can click on landing pages. Okay. Do you see that? That's going to answer your question more directly, I think, Michelle. Behavior landing pages. Sorry, behavior site content landing pages. Check out this page right here. 963 visitors on this one page alone. This is what's kind of exciting about this, okay? This page right here gets anywhere from 50, sometimes 70, 80 visitors on a given day. This is one article written one time. It's gotten 1,000 visitors this past month. So that was a home run article that I wrote. Here's another one. Do diamonds depreciate? I wrote an article about that a long time ago when I was actually diamond shopping for my wife. I always had the question, do diamonds depreciate? I wrote an article on it, put ads on it, and right now this article gets 4, 5, 6, sometimes 8 visitors a day. Right? Pretty interesting stuff. So I can see right here by looking at my landing pages which pages here on my site are getting the most play. And anyway, this is just a list of my pages over the past month that have been getting some visits. Anyway, this isn't a Google Analytics training, but hopefully that answered your question there. Okay. Yeah, you definitely want Google AdSense on your blogs, Lawrence. I mean, that's a great way to monetize this stuff. Elaine, yeah, you will want a blog. I mean, your topic, your subject matter, you may not think that it has a lot of options for blogging, but it does, and we can certainly talk about it. Anyway, we're a little over time, guys. I hope this was helpful. Again, can I just reiterate one more time and just bring this up? This right here is the process. Please rinse and repeat, and do not tell me after you've done the process only 10 or 15 times that this is either working or not working. Okay? Remember my fishing references. I know I've used a lot of them, but again, that's akin to you going out onto the lake, casting your line in for 5 minutes, and then saying, you know what, the fish aren't biting today. I'm going to go home. You'd be nuts. And that is exactly what I've seen some people do who try this that don't stick with it. This is a content generation strategy, and it does work if you stick with it. All right? Okay. Then we'll finish up. To your question last, Kathy, what's the goal? The goal is to make money. The goal is to end up having a website that does exactly what this financial nut site does. It sits out there online with all of these articles that have been written over the years. It gets a tremendous amount of traffic, and you're making money off of these ads for years and years and years to come. It's truly automated income, passive automated income, and that this is one of the only internet marketing strategies I know of that you can really create something and then sit back and wait. You're not handling customers. There's no day-to-day activities on this. You create the content and wait, and that's what it's all about. And that, for most of my clients, ends up being very appealing. Okay? All right, guys. Next time, same place, and thanks for coming along and seeing this live.